Okay, so here we're going to take the inverse of equations by writing its inverse equation. All right, so there's 3 steps. Okay, first thing we're going to do is switch the x and the y variables. Okay, x will become y and y will become x. Be careful not to move any numbers or powers or anything. Just change the actual letter. Okay, once we change the letters, step 2, we're going to change our y to inverse y. So I added the negative y to the negative 1. Okay. Then we'll solve for that inverse y. Okay, so f of x we know is the same thing as y. So we're going to change those. Y becomes x, the x becomes a y. Okay, so x equals 5y plus 5. Okay, then we change this to inverse y, and we solve for it. Okay, we subtract 5 both sides. Okay, it goes 5, x minus 5 equals 5 inverse y. Then I'm going to divide by 5. Okay, then we have the inverse of y equals x minus 5 over 5. It can also be written like this, 1/5 x minus 1 when you reduce everything. All right, this next example, we'll do the same thing. Change that x to there, negative 3/4, make that a y plus 6. Okay, make that inverse, second step, and now we're going to solve. So let's subtract 6 both sides. All right, so we get x minus 6 equals negative 3/4 y inverse. Okay, now be careful here because I know a lot of y'all have been taught to divide by 3/4. What I'd like you to do is break it apart. Let's first get rid of the denominator by multiplying both sides by a 4. Okay, what that's going to do is get rid of that denominator, and then we have negative 3y inverse. Okay, next we have 4x minus 6. And what I'm going to do now is divide out the negative 3 both sides. Okay, and then end up here with y inverse equals 4 times x minus 6 over negative 3. Okay, so a couple of things we got to do so we can take this inverse is remember this property. A plus or minus b over c, we can separate this as a over c plus or minus b over c. Because there's a common denominator, we can split it apart. We're going to keep that in mind. Okay, so one of the things we got to know is that the negative is never negative in the denominator, so we can put that up top with the numerator. Okay, then I'm going to distribute that negative 4, so negative 4x plus 24 over 3. Okay, then I'm going to apply the rule I wrote in red. So I'm going to have negative 4x over 3 plus 24 over 3. Okay, we try to reduce. Negative 4/3 doesn't reduce, so I'm going to put it like that. Negative 4/3 x. And so we have a slope. And then let's put that here. And then 24 over 3 is 8. So everything here is correctly reduced. Okay. Example 3, kind of the same thing. Let's get rid of our denominator. Well, we're not ready for that yet. Let's switch these things. So x equals y plus 3 over 5. Now we'll multiply by 5 both sides. Right, those cancel. We'll get 5x equals y inverse plus 3. Okay, don't forget to make that inverse. Okay, subtract 3 both sides. All right, and then we get y inverse equals 5x minus 3. And there is our inverse for that. So that's how you do the linears to find their inverses.